Good evening, folks. It's Wednesday. I spent the entirety of my normal playing ponies with friends slots just chatting with my friends. So we were gonna maybe play something, but we didn't. So I have not moved very far from where I was at the end of the last stream. Yes, no, I dropped something off my desk on the floor, but it's fine. It's fine. We're all fine here. How are you doing? Is everybody ready to go? I think Flutibot announced that we are live. I tweeted first photos with my new phone because my old phone has been basically non-functional for most of the 2.5 years I've had it. So I have a new shiny piece of technology. It's very exciting. So shiny. Look at how shiny. Speaking of shiny things, I'm shiny. The Aetherite's shiny. We're all shiny and technological. My sword isn't technological. My sword is magical. It's not technological. Yes. Oh. And it wouldn't be a tombstone, right? That would be a link shell. Link pearl. The cell phone. They like touch their ear and somebody the Waiting Sands calls them. Oh man. Yeah, so I am excited to play more of this game. Before we get started, I do want to say I'm taking next week off streaming. Sorry, you have to deal with me like running around in circles or like bouncing. This is what I do when I'm talking to people and I'm playing this game. But I'm taking next week off streaming because my mom has finished teaching for the summer. So I'm going, because she's a piano teacher, so she teaches in the evenings. I'm going to take some time off to hang out with my family. So yeah. Sorry, that will be no stream next week. But maybe it means that I'll take less than a week to put the archive up on YouTube. I'm so sorry for anyone who watches on YouTube. I've been really, periodically I just go through a phase where I'm like, nobody wants to see this or cares about this. It doesn't matter. I'm just getting mad. Yeah, no streams at all next week. But we are streaming this week. So we are going to be playing Hades tomorrow. And then Saturday, actually, we're going to be playing the demo of an Earthbound-inspired or Mother-inspired game called Lifelike. On Saturday, I haven't figured out what time yet, but follow me on social media or Discord and I will make it known. But yeah, no streams next week except Monday. The Monday creative sprint stream will happen because that is during working hours and will be good for me. So if you like if you like the creative sprints and want to join us for getting things done, we will be doing that Monday morning. But yeah, so that's the streams. I don't know about the following week, but yeah, so that's the deal next week, which will be kind of nice because I've been feeling a little bit burned out. Turns out that going from 2 streams a week to 5 streams a week is a lot. So yeah, but I feel like I've got some actual energy tonight, so hopefully that'll lead well into having adventures in this game. Man, poor Tough Stuff is really mad at me. Tough Stuff is like, could you close your bazillion Chrome tabs? Maybe. So she works less hard. Okay, we're gonna do that. So she's less tired and sad. She's like, you're asking a lot of me, Lauren. Oh, I need to close out of Discord too so that folks don't get their messages popping up. Okay, I think we're ready to go then. So we're hanging out with some pirates, trying to convince them to prevent our friend. Look at that. Why? Oh wait, it's got fangs! It's not just that it's got ears. It literally has fangs. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna progress the story, I swear. But look at that. I think it's got fangs. I think it looks like a face. It's got fangs. What are you doing, little guy? What are you doing? It's a demon island. Maybe it's a demon. I don't know. Love L'Oreal standing with her hands on her hips, like surveying. Like, I think that volcano is demonic. Everyone's like, I guess it might be, Lauren. Or L'Oreal, excuse me. They're not the same. Yes, her name is in fact, I know this is shocking, but her name is in fact based on mine. That's right, Hellslid. Alright, well, that is a thing that I got distracted by. But non-volcano-ish adventures. It's, we're hanging out with some pirates, trying to convince them to prevent our friend from maybe getting murdered by that was the Viceroy herself, who has the being alive is better than being dead philosophy, which, I mean, to a certain degree, I think most of us agree with that. The problem is when you add at all costs to the end of that statement, then you start getting into more controversial territory, you know? Like, I feel like most people have the limits, and we honestly, frankly, we can't know what our limits actually are for sure, until you're in a situation where you actually are confronted by it. You can have a pretty decent guess, but until your life or the lives of the people you love are on the line, you can't be 100% sure what you would do in that situation. But I think a lot of people, when confronted with that, do decide that and do decide, you know, I draw the line at that. I am willing to die or let people I care about suffer because I will not cross that line, and that can be a valid decision. In the case of the Viceroy here, she has made a very strong choice that she does not care how many other people die as long as she stays alive. So she's not doing what she's doing inherently because she thinks, I mean, she was like, oh, Domans, they're so awful. How Doman of you. Like, she's definitely saying that, but I don't know that that's actually her motivation and not something that she's kind of picked up to justify some of what she's doing. But it seems like the fundamental thing is she's like, if I help the Empire, they won't kill me. And I will just continue to do whatever they need, including ordering a young man to kill a child and then to kill his own parents. That was a very, like, hey, by the way, did you know that Final Fantasy XIV doesn't pull its punches? And I'm like, apparently I forgot. So thank you for reminding me, Final Fantasy XIV, because how foolish of me, you know? Yeah. So, like, her being just a survivor at all costs is interesting. That's better than just plain being sadistic, you know? It's more interesting, like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I really like Final Fantasy VI, and I think Kefka is very effective at what he is, but he's not, like, the deepest villain, you know? Okay, where am I going? Yeah, no, I think that's fair, Stormblood, to have fascists doing war crimes be, like, actually something of consequence instead of just generic bad guys. Because A Realm Reborn, when I start thinking about Realm Reborn, and I think about, like, any of, like, the political intrigue and complications, it's all the post-Realm Reborn content that I think of. Like, I forget what happens in A Realm Reborn itself. And so, like, ruling out the basement goths and the Empire as being really boring. Maybe that's unfair and I just don't remember, but part of why I don't remember is because it wasn't that compelling. But here they're definitely digging it in with, like, really awful specifics, which is the way to do it. You don't have to show constant examples. You just have to show a few really effective ones to make the impression. So with that little introduction of the Viceroy, we've gotten everything we need to have an idea of who she is and what she's like, what we're getting into, what people here have to deal with, why people are maybe beaten down the way they are, and we'll go from there. Is Gaius the one who was like, I believe in the meritocracy? Is he the meritocracy guy? I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. Oh my god, my mom has been like, let's watch Downton Abbey. But I don't like watch every episode. I'll like wander down and watch an episode or two. So like I don't know any of the characters' names, but I'm like, oh, that's the this, that's the that. So she's getting to know how I give people silly nicknames instead of learning their names. Gaius is the Darth Vader? Oh. He was Darth Vader? I remember him being about meritocracy because I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's like a relatively human motivation and way of thinking about things. That's more interesting. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like him being meritocratic. I don't know how you would say that word. But that is distinctive because that's not how Garleans do things. So I'm like, even though you are evil, you are doing a thing that is defying the way that your people do things in a way that I'm like, yes, that lines up more with my values. Too bad nothing else around it does. But it's probably a good thing, actually. Or rather, too bad their values don't line up with mine. It is a good thing that my values do not line up with theirs. Oh man, I don't remember. A lot of the memeing of things from this game has not been. I have not been exposed to many of the memes, so. Alright, let's talk to Alice. Hello, friend. She looks... Oh, that's right. We're going around getting to know. What we're immediately doing is trying to figure out what the people here need and figuring out what their problems are so we can make them like us. And then they will help us help Gosetsu? Did I get his name right this time? That was a behemoth! Why are you riding a behemoth? Oh my god. The behemoth came back. That's a behemoth! Yes! I'm getting the names. I'm learning. But yeah, so we're gonna... We discovered a bunch of empty containers and weapons that hadn't seen much use. That's what we discovered. So now we're gonna put our heads together. See what Lisa's up to. Ooh. Hi, Lise. Lise was talking to folks. Yotsuyu. These are basically the same thing, written in two different ways. I think the situation is coming to a head. Whether they want to or not. Something's going to happen. Yes, I was about to say, we need to prove to them that they will survive. How we're going to do that, I don't know. Except that I'm the Warrior of Light and I can take on anything. Look at me! Warrior of Light. Alright. They're like, hey, we know you've been doing this with quests since the beginning of the game. So just do more of that. Onokoro. So I have pronunciation questions. Want half gloves? Maybe, I don't know if I do. Because some of them say Doma, and I've been saying Doma my whole life, but sometimes they say more like Doma? Doma? It's not quite do, it's not a long O sound. I don't know. Blue Gloss, there do seem to be some differences, and in this case actually I can see how the dialogue would have been written differently based on, if I'd picked the other one, then Alice would have said maybe one or two sentences differently. But... yeah, Dumbland, the people from Doma use this shorter O sound. It's not quite a, it's not fully what I would think of as a short O sound in English. There's something a little different. So if that is the Japanese pronunciation, I don't know. That was my question. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this behemoth. Hello, behemoth. Oh, hello, friend. You had to bust that out because you heard me talking about behemoths, yeah. All right. Dalma. Yeah, it's interesting. That person is dressed as a black mage. Look at them go. Look at them go. They're like Vivi. I love Vivi. Did you hear they're supposedly going to be making a Final Fantasy IX cartoon? I'm skeptical of it even happening, but we'll see. Ah, they've got children who help out around here. Okay. Oh man! You wanna hear my dumb story about anti-nausea medication? Too bad. I'm gonna tell you anyway. So I get really badly motion sick, and I always have. And for a long time, I would take Dramamine to help with that. But like, then Dramamine would make me too sleepy, and then I started taking Bonine, which makes you less sleepy, and like non-drowsy Dramamine. But like, eventually, even the non-drowsy stuff would make me like sleepy for like days afterwards. Like this is dreadful. I don't like that when I'm going on trips, so I'll just deal with getting sick on airplanes. But so I was gonna be flying home to Texas, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna be there for like a month and a half. I can afford to be dozy for the first couple of days, so sure, I'll take some anti-nausea medication. So I go to Shoppers, which is the drugstore, one of the big drugstore chains in Canada, and I'm like, where do I go to find anti-nausea medication? And I'm like looking up and down the aisles. I'm like, I don't know where it is. And I ask the dude there, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's not good. So I finally find this shelf with a few different formulas of things, and it's no brands that I know of, no ingredients that I know of. I'm just like, I don't know what any of this is or how it compares. Like, you put me in like an American drugstore by the anti-nausea medication, and I know everything about it. I'm like, I can distinguish between these. Here's the non-drowsy, here's the regular. It's not the same. Like, it's literally not the same thing. And I was just like, you would think, because I've been living in Canada now for like a year and a half, going on 2 years, like, a lot of times it's very similar. I'm like, oh, the spelling is a little bit different. And I've kind of made my peace with the fact that people will talk about places in the country that I don't know, or cultural things that I don't know, and they just expect everybody to know. And I'm like, I don't know where that is or what that means. Although sometimes I do occasionally, because I was raised by a Canadian, but a lot of it I don't know. But every so often I'll just have an encounter where, like, it's like me and Canada just look at each other in confusion. I'm like, did I step into a parallel dimension? Because everything is so close and yet not quite close. Like, I don't think I talked about this, and I won't talk about it, so I won't actually say spoilers about the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake. But there is a thing that is a very subtle difference in a way that made me think, that makes me think of that experience, which I should have picked up on then, but I didn't. But like, it's so close, but it's not quite what you expect. And so, going through Canada, it's so similar, except sometimes things are just not right or completely different, and you're like, I've stepped into the parallel dimension where we don't have anti-nausea medication that I know. It doesn't exist. There's something else instead. I guess we'll see what that does. I didn't get sick on the plane, so there's that. Yeah, anyway, it's really weird. It is weird being in a country that is very similar and not the same, and being like, oh yeah, I'm in another country. Like, you don't think about that so much. And I was like, you know, my mom's Canadian, I can handle this. It's kind of a weird thing. Anyway, yeah, that's my ramble about that. Okay, I'm gonna take some medicine. A true Confederate could raid a dozen ships while in his cups. Mayhap this one should return whence he came. This is why I'm not a voice actor. Alright. Let us go find the friend who needs this. So why does the music go quiet for a couple of seconds and then it picks right back up? It seems kind of weird to me. Yuki, feathered with arrows. I don't think feathered is quite the right word there. Oh, I'm gonna have to fight the mom, who's gonna be really mad. I'm sorry, I didn't kill your child, but I guess I'm gonna have to kill you too. Hello, Aranami. Alright, that is the dragon people, right? Where am I supposed to go? I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Are they not dragon people? I thought they were dragon people. Shows what I know. Crick. Right. I actually told a friend who was like, hey Lauren, I see you're online. Do you want some clothing? And I was like, sure. So he like came running over to give me some clothes and then ran away. So maybe I'll make some more fashion. We'll see how it is. Oh, I guess it would make sense for Ishgard to have persecuted them, thinking that they might be related to dragons. But I like that that's actually like a thing that they've taken into consideration, is like, in a world where dragons actually exist and people have reactions to dragons, what would happen if you looked like a dragon person? Hold on, I gotta get this. How am I gonna get this? How do I get this? Oh good, I'm gonna get this. My first impression of the Ishgardians was not a good one. Oh, let me up. Please let me up. Yes! I want to go swimming. I actually do like going swimming. I've been going swimming a couple of times. Because my mom, in Texas, a lot of people have pools, so we've got a little pool in the backyard, so swimming is very nice. Oh no! Hold on, what is this? Keep his insides on the inside. Ideally, that's where they go. Landlubber's best mate. I would definitely need this. Okay. We have done that. Mission successful. Yeah, well, it's funny because, like, I also was barely aware of what exactly was going on. Oh, speaking of Ishgard and the dragons. Whee! Oh, maybe we should go over here and fight a thing. What am I fighting? Where am I going? That was roughly when I sort of started paying attention to the story more. So there was the guy at the desk in the cold place. People would ask me what I was doing, and I'd be like, I'm running around doing stuff for the guy at the desk in the cold place. And I'm like, oh my god, Lauren. Now I understand why Horschfont, of all characters in the game, being reduced to the guy behind the desk in the cold place was particularly funny. Oh yeah, yes, but at the time I didn't know he was the best boy. But he's one of the first characters I started paying attention to in the game, because like something about him was memorable and attention grabbing. He's pretty great. He's just really goofy and nice and friendly. And like, tired of that. Like, I think everybody had taken themselves too seriously, and the story did not feel like it stood up to being held up to being taken so seriously. And then he was like, allow me to pour my boundless enthusiasm on you. And I was like, I like you. Yeah, when Emmerich showed up, I was like, no. But that turns out he's like perfect. Why are you hiding back here? Is it because this person's gonna beat you up? I'm sorry. Do I have to go beat them up? Oh, you really are hiding over here, aren't you? Oh, you're not a little boy, are you? Oh, you're way taller than me. My goodness. Sorry, my red mage thing's in the way. Look how tall you are! I kept waiting for Emmerich to... Because it was like, he's too good to be true. There's no way. Yes, he is actually that good. But I was like, there's no way he's gonna betray me. And I was like, I really hope he doesn't betray me. I'll be so mad if he betrays me, and he didn't. They better not ever do something like that, because he's Emmerich. We bid farewell to one of our own and worried she might have lost her way. Ah. I can respect that. I wonder if knowing about the burial practices of the pirate Confederates, I'm sorry, it feels very weird to call anyone the Confederates, like, that's really uncomfortable. But if the pirate Confederacy, like, knowing their burial practices, will become significant later, we'll find out. They specifically say anyone who is, like, burdened will come back. So I imagine we'll have some undead. You know, if you're playing the long game enough that you basically do all sorts of amazing, wonderful, and kind things, like, I'm sorry, but you're basically that. Wait, the music changed there. Oh, the aggressive shark just disappeared. It was like, oh no. Well, I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, but I spent a very long period of my life, feeling like I was a bad person, pretending to do good things because I wanted to be a good person, but I wasn't. It was all a pretend. But really, to a certain degree, yes, we are what we do. Who we are is defined, I think, a lot by what we do. So yeah. Turns out that nobody is inherently the best person ever, except maybe Emmerich. We're all a mishmash of good and bad. And as long as we try to do more good than we manage to do bad in the world, good job. That counts. No, he was not napping on the beach. You didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. Ah, here's a good thing to know. If you're going to do something, there is value in saying what you're doing and why, because people will often assume the worst. Because if you say, I will go watch for in case her vessel returns, then this person won't be like, what a lazy good for nothing. Be like, oh, I respect that. Okay, let me know when you've returned. Yeah. Yeah, being from the US, the Confederacy is the bad guys. I have not played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. In fact, I've never even played the first Tactics myself. I've sort of watched other people play it. Neither of them were particularly in love with the game. But I've wondered about playing through it myself and seeing what I think of it on my own opinion, because it turns out I'm allowed to hold those opinions. Did you know that? Did you know? You're allowed to like something even if other people don't. It's lessons. And here this person is like, I was making fun of him, but actually I have understanding of why. The Imperials took his lands and the lives of his parents and brothers. That sounds very Imperial of them. Yeah, while you were wandering off, I talked to my boss, and it turns out you're more interesting than just a random recruit. Small joys in the land, but the sea holds salvation. Is this a cult? Is this a cult? Don't answer that, but it might be. Don't remember if we had that conversation before, but... I mean, there's a reason why this is here. And it's because who doesn't like taking off half of your health plummeting off of a high place? You're lying. Now what? Oh, search for the Gyuki carcass. Oh, it's over that way. I'm going the wrong way. Aren't I? Alright. Are you telling me the Welk is out there? Oh no. I hadn't even thought about it because I don't have a fear of heights. But if playing a video game and having a fear of heights would be bad, just like having a fear of caves and fire, playing video games is bad. Oh, hello, Welk. I see you. I did immediately go and yell at all of my friends that I had fought the Welk and got electrocuted, and this is the most exciting thing that had happened in a while. They were happy for me. By the way, apparently if I get to a particular, what's it called? Not a dungeon. The other thing. Oh. That one looks like a giant walrus. Trial. Yes, there's apparently one coming up at some point in the nearest future that one of my pony friends is like absolutely obsessed with. So when she was like, oh, maybe you'll be approaching that soon, she got really excited. So if we get there, I might have to, oh shoot. Oh no. I might have to pause to like let her know. All right. Growling Gyuki. I'm sorry, Gyuki. Recovered the usable arrows. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, now I'm gonna... Oh, right. I'm gonna get food from the tail. Why the tail? The tail doesn't seem like the best place to get food. Wow, this is slow. This is slow. Yeah, she apparently had to do it 97 times to get tokens to get something in particular that she was really excited about, which she got. And I remember making her an MS Paint stick figure picture to celebrate her getting the mount that she wanted from that. Oh, that makes sense, Dosmea. Tail is meat, the rest is blubber. Oh, goodness! The music is really good. Are we fighting this? Are we fighting this? Alright. No! Oh, we've got frozen. Okay, well, that means we can jump on it now. Use it as a platform. Speaking of, I'm gonna play Metroid Fusion on stream at some point. So that I can be prepared when Metroid Dread comes out. I'm so excited. Man, I haven't played a Metroid game in a very, very long time. And hello, Welk. I've improved a lot as a gamer. And it would be interesting to see if I still run screaming and die a lot to SAX or not. Alright. Sorry that I can't not sing along with that melody. Every single time. I imagine it probably gets annoying because there's a lot of it here, but... Alright, here's the... There are only 3 arrows, but there were 8 meats. Something Something was announced that came out on January 21st, which is the day before my birthday, because I was really excited, but I don't remember what it was. Pretty the meat is not as delicious as it is nutritious. These are not normal circumstances. Ah, yes, I see, okay. Oh, that's a good point. Nobody's at risk at my error. Okay. Strange sigh. Not sure what that's all about. Alright, let us go talk to Hirase. Now you're here to ask if I need anything. Ravenous sharks that have been leaping out of the water and making off with our fish. I love that. I love the land sharks. They're amazing. Oh, we're gonna have to go save your friends, or maybe your friends will be dead. I hope not. Why is it? Oh, they're sun-ripened chum. Okay, I hate fish so much, just in general. Fish is bad without being rotten. Like, just fish being rotten, the absolute worst. Hello! Oh my god! Oh my god, I could get a shark. I too could get a shark. Amazing. Amazing. Maybe at some point I will acquire a shark pony. Oh my god, so my mom and I went to pick up lunch and we went past a restaurant that was called like Supreme Shack, and it's a seafood place. But I thought that it said like Supreme Shark or Super Shark or something like that, and I was like, oh, you were so close to having an amazing name and then you ruined it. Oh, I'm never gonna get the shark mount if it involves fishing. I'm not gonna fish. One of my pony friends. Oh my god, you're a nasty looking Mr. Dude Man. One of my pony friends is really into fishing though. Like, he got a decorative fish that he calls Skittles because it's rainbow. Do you know what I'm talking about with that? Oh, we've got to go find another one. Okay, hold on. Let's see, we're gonna investigate. Find some more sharks. Ah, that looks like where I'm going. It's all like evil purple smoke. I like how destination is sometimes sparkly and sometimes evil purple smoke. I guess letting you know in advance if it's gonna summon a bad guy. Ah, we'll never have equal magics. All right, here we go. Whee! Boop, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Where are we going? Search for the industrious pirate. Where is the industrious pirate? Oh, it's somewhere I haven't been yet. Okay. Welcome to Lauren navigating Final Fantasy XIV. This experience that we're having right now is very much what everything was when I played the game for the first couple of years. I can never find my way. Oh, oh, is this an Aether Compass place? Northeast. Well, we're going northeast. Yeah. Shiranui, no! I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna wander awkwardly forward. Just gonna keep going. Where am I? I have to take a look around this. Okay. Oh, look at this! Coral. The Coral Banquet. Don't eat coral. Or be eaten by coral. Neither one of those is a good thing, I don't think. Oh, it's living coral, though, instead of dead coral. Okay, hold on. We're fine. We don't need that. Okay, let's just keep investigating. Man. So. I think it's up there. I don't think I can get there from here. Maybe if I go up that way. Maybe if I do this the way I'm supposed to do this. Let's not be ridiculous, folks. Hello. Oh my goodness, look at all these bad guys. Sorry folks, I'm just gonna leave you. Because I'm trying to find a... No! Southwest? West. That's this way. I don't know how to get there, so we're just gonna wander around a bit. I know that I have stuff I'm supposed to do, but you've reminded me that... Oh, what is that? Oh my god, it's pretty! It's like a coral plant crab! How cool is that? The answer is very cool. Sometimes my pony friends have taken me on a like we'll just go around and pick up the last of the currents. Okay, so southwest, which is no stop. That is southwest, but I think in order to get there I have to do this. Just keep going up. Yes, we're just gonna go around in a little circle. Whee! Oh, look at that crabby! Hi, crabby! Oh, they're so pretty. I really like these crabbies. Oh, this is a cool location. It's so extremely different from where we ran around in Heavensward. So I guess, because a friend had told me that the different expansions are kind of all elemental themed, like Heavensward being wind based. I guess this must be water based. There sure are ships and things. All right, Rikufu. Okay, so my controller has been dying and undying, so just try to have patience. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, so just stand and stare there the whole time. Umi Beta. I don't actually have any idea how that would be said, so I'm just kind of making something up. Hello. Okay. 35 yalms to the south. Oh, that's really, really close. Ah. Huh? Aha. Hello. Oops. Hopefully I can get over there and I didn't just mess it up. I bet I messed it up. Oh no, I didn't mess it up! Yes! I suppose that's true. Storms do involve water. Yay, we did it! Okay, I'm having some trouble here. Spinning around in silly circles. Oh, hold on. We're gonna do some skateboarding or snowboarding or whatever here. Oh, hold on. No, wrong button. I forgot the jump button. Jump and spin. Yeah. Look at how good. Look at how good. We did such a good job. Alright, so this is like up. Oh, look at you. You're industrious pirate. Oh no! Sharp shell of the red. Oh, this is one of the Ninja Turtles with the bad guy Ninja Turtles. I'm so glad that I can make somebody else watch my stupid spinning around on my horse thing. Horse boarding! Oh my god, horse boarding. Thank you, Blue Glass. So we're gonna aid this fella. No, we'll go find them. Pony boarding. It was intentional at one point, but I couldn't figure out how to turn it back on, so I just didn't. You have to use catchers. Oh, some bad news is going on. She's tracking down all the Domans and the pirates, and she's gonna have them all killed because she is bad news. She's a bad news lady. If I were cool, I would like pick the right song to sing to reference her being bad news, and everyone would be like, man, not Lauren. She sure does know pop culture and music and is really good at picking the pop culture music thing. Southeast. Okay, well, we'll get there eventually. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Alright. Now we've got the regular map. Alright. I can do this. I can follow basic instructions on the map. If you think it's insufferable and impossible and frustrating watching me try to find my way around this game, now, just count yourselves lucky that you didn't see me the first, like, 2 years I played this game. Hi, Lise. What's up? No, I meant to talk to Lise. Okay. Shark hunting. I did go shark hunting, yes. She bested a drunken pirate in a sparring match. Very nice. Yeah, so it turns out that you can't just leave the Empire alone and figure they'll leave you alone. They will eventually come after you. We'll find out. What's up, Lise? Maybe she's trying to provoke them so she can kill them all. We'll see. There's some complication going on here, I'm sure. But I don't know what it is. And sweet. Hello, friend. Alright. Alright. Hello, pirates.
Our most compassionate acquaintances return. For your deeds, we owe you many thanks.
Is this ironic or is this earnest? We will find out.
But something tells me our thanks are not sufficient. The strange thing is, I was certain you understood our position. And yet here you are with that same look in your eyes and those same words upon your lips, I'll wager.
Yeah, he does have a very nice voice. Does he have a lot of fans? Do the fans like him?
I speak only the truth. The Confederacy will not be spared Yotsu's wrath. You have always known this, that one day you would have no choice but to stand up to the Empire. I say to you that day is today, and come once more to ask that you join us in the fight.
Thanks, Alice.
How convenient that recent events should lend such credence to your claims. Tell me, do death and destruction always follow in your wake?
He's blaming us for this.
They had no part in it, Tansui. You know this. We all know this.
Thank you, Rasho. He shrugs.
They came and took our Doman brothers.
Yeah.
They will torture them for her sport. Murder them for her satisfaction. So we attack and get butchered for our trouble, or do naught and let them have their pound of flesh. If this be our choice, I say we suffer the ignominy. We endure. We survive. There is no better path. Until the day our enemy is grown weaker and we stronger, there can be no retribution. We will wait for a sign. Such is the judgment of the Confederacy.
Yeah, but you are growing weaker instead of stronger. And that's going to continue as long as they choke you out like that.
So that's it then. You're just going to abandon them to her. They'd die for you, you know, for the Confederacy. They would die for you, but you wouldn't even think to risk your lives for theirs.
That's a very noisy hand grip. Somebody needs lotion.
I have one last idea, if you will allow. I'm afraid it's not very good as ideas go. It's exceedingly reckless, in fact, and you may well come to despise me for ever having suggested it. Assuming we survive, that is.
Oh, I see. I assume she's speaking in a low voice because she's talking to me specifically rather than to them. But, this is amazing.
The question being, do you trust me?
To ask me again later. That's amazing. I appreciate that. That's the sass that she deserves, but I won't do that.
We can't stand by and let innocent people suffer, here or anywhere else. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, Lise. Oh, like, I don't feel like Alice was even asking Lise. I think she was asking me because I'm ostensibly a grown up, but she knows that like she and Lise will go charging on some like foolish, foolhardy adventure.
Then let us roll the dice.
Yeah.
If it's a sign you want, we shall give you one. One rousing enough to make you drive every Garlean out of Isari without a second thought.
I'm really curious what she's doing.
You are wary of invoking the ire of the Imperial forces stationed in Dome, correct? Know then that once we have rescued our comrade and freed Isari, we mean to liberate the nation as a whole. You will doubtless require assurances that we are capable of achieving this, and that is only fair. Accordingly, we shall demonstrate our seriousness by depriving the Garleans of a key ally, the Kojin.
Come to think of it, the other, like the characters who are more local say Kojin a little differently. They use the same different O. Okay, I'm learning.
What, the three of you, just like that?
That's right, Town Sweet. Well, this is so much more easier.
Actually, my esteemed colleague here will attend to it on her own. But the how of it is not your concern, only the outcome. If we succeed, you help us liberate Isari. If we fail, you lose nothing. A simple enough wager, if you have the stones for it.
Oh my god, Alice. She is very different from Alphino. He has bluffed and done things like this, but he goes about it differently.
The little miss does make it hard to refuse, does she not?
Words are air. We will weigh you by your deeds.
That's very well written. That's a very good line. Da, 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 da. That's the one that's the melody that they were singing. Sounds like an anthem of some sort. Alright. Alright, new gloves. Cool. Hi, Stolen Light. What's up? How are you doing? Tense, are you gonna sass me? Taking a bit of a risk here. Alright, Rosho. Yes. The red. The blue. Okay, so the traders are the blue. Boy, that gets confusing with American English, doesn't it? Because a trader and a trader sounds the same, but they're completely different words. One of those words has a T, is spelled T-R-A-I-T-O-R, and the other word is spelled T-R-A-D-E-R. and in an American accent, those words sound the same. So my apologies to everybody. Hey, Dashi's new? Welcome and thank you for the raid. How are you doing? Yes, traitors are the blue, traitors are the red. I could say traitors. 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 But emphasizing that second T feels very, very odd. Huh. Who's on first? Is that a joke? I'm sorry, Dumbland. I haven't really thought, because usually you can tell from context if someone is talking about a traitor. But when I say traitor, like it sounds like if I say traitor, traitor, wow, that's a hard one to say. Oof. So are you a Final Fantasy XIV person as well, Dashi? Dashi, is that how I say your name? Dash? Dash? Dash is new? I'm sorry. Names are sometimes hard to get right. Alright, so the traitors might help. Oh man, okay. Yeah, I've been playing it for several years, but the first few years I barely knew what I was doing, so it took me, I think, 2 years to get through A Realm Reborn. But I got through Heaven's Word in less than a year, I think, so we're gonna see what happens with Stormblood. Traitorous, traitor. See, when I say traitorous, it's not traitorous. It's traitorous. But when I say traitor, traitor, I'm gonna have to think about that one. Well, I'm doing a story-focused play here, so we're just doing main story quest stuff. Becca! Oh! Isn't that, like, sort of similar to the name of... Is it Byakko? Okay. Where did Lise go? Lise, what are you up to? What shenanigans is she up to? I guess we'll find out. We will be watching. Yes, I believe you will. Alright, where did she run off to? Why, there's so many exclamation points. Everybody has favors. Oh! Oh no, I have to go find her. Yes, Drew, that's what that made me think of. It may very well have nothing to do with it. But, we were playing through Suikoden 2, and the cooking minigame, melodramatic side story thing, references the 4 elemental animal gods. I don't know what their actual formal name is. What is that? What? Oh, it's a person. Sorry. Oh, hello, Lise. And you don't have to join our link shell. It's just for people who hang out with us here. It's a nice way for us to play together. Oh man, Lise, you did wander off though. You wandered way off. Oh, Lisa's having that inferiority feeling. I'm sorry. She's like, my dad and my sister were great, and I am not. No, Lisa, I think you're going to be great in your own way. It's different. Oh, no, it's okay, Lisa. You've actually been hiding yourself and your feelings for so long. It's actually a good thing for you to be voicing that sort of thing. We can go places and fight Imperials and save our friends and also talk about our feelings. Lise clearly hasn't hung out with us before. She would know. We hang out with feelings. We fight monsters and have feelings. That's what we do here. But this is, I assume, referencing something that I would have seen if I... Maybe I have seen this and forgotten it because my memory is bad. In childhood, been through a lot. Oh, is she talking about the little baby goblin? Kobold. That poor kid. Yes, saying a child who's been through a lot is a good way of that. Alright, so let us go have... I guess we're gonna go do... Oh, there is... somebody over here who gives me a thing. Hey, JG! What's up? Do I know you by a full name? I know a lot of writers, so I may very well. Please forgive me if I am bad with names, though. Woman of Eorzea, that's correct. Oh yes, that is true. They do exist and are prosperous. Oh no. This is... Okay. Oh man. Okay, so I'm helping the pirates. I feel like pirates in the East India Trading Company, depending on the pirates and whether they're idealistic and idealized pirates or very like every man for himself, kill everybody and take their money pirates. Have interesting relationships. Huh. Alright, so a writer that has JG. I am not sure who you are, my friend, but I'm thinking. Alright. Pulling double booty. Oh my god. Okay, so no, that person's trading is not specific to pirates. It's pirates. Alright, where am I going? Oh, Josh! Hey! How are you doing? It's one of my grad school friends. Everybody say hi to Josh. How's it going? Well, we are playing through the main story of this game. I don't know if you are an MMO player, but this game is very story focused, so... Tsukikage. Oh goodness. No, please do not go cutting people's arms off. That is not acceptable. Maybe we could not do that? Also, why do you have like little glowy bombs on your belt? Oh my god. This isn't good. I mean, we knew that this was gonna come. Like, we know that the pirates do this. Lest you go thinking that they're entirely sympathetic and the good guys. This is not so good. Someone actually associated. Oh god. Well, I guess these aren't so much idealized pirates. Because that is something that is very hard to reconcile. If you're like, pirates, they're dashing and cool and fun, and also they murder people and take their stuff. Like highwaymen as well, but pirates more than highwaymen. Like, if you're writing pirates and you want them to be sympathetic to somebody with like modern values and modern standards, you have to find a way for them to not murder everybody. Like, it's unclear whether Wesley as the Dread Pirate Roberts actually kills people or not. They just kind of don't go into that, if I remember correctly. Because I think the implication is that none of the Dread Pirate Roberts, I don't know, like, they have to have a reputation for being bloodthirsty and killing anybody who crosses them. It's hard. So I've written pirate adventures. Yeah, no, they do absolutely, Drew. But having them like threaten somebody with this particular level of visceral violence is stronger than we'll sink your ship if you don't pay our taxes. As far as like, there's obviously both of them result in people being dead or hurt, but there's kind of a difference in how like real it feels, you know. Tsukikage, does that mean like moon shadow? Okay. For as far back as anyone can remember. So this has been going on a long time then, okay. Yotsuyu wants to stop it. Ah. Are those... is the city guards in Kagane are hers? Hmm. Ah, okay, so we take their stuff, but we can't sell their stuff. Because our regular, I mean, I would say fence, but I don't know that that's appropriate here. It's not able to buy or sell these things. Hmm. Hmm. There's some intrigue here. We can't sell them their own goods. No, that would probably not go over very well. Okay. I wonder if this is going to go somewhere interesting. Or if it's just going to be a little bitty thing. But it has the potential to go somewhere interesting. I don't know. Alright. Where am I going? How am I getting there? Under the sea, huh? How am I getting out there? Wait. Oh, I'm supposed to go to the Isle of Becco. Okay, where am I? Okay. We're just gonna go run into the water and swim a bunch since we can swim. So swimming wasn't introduced prior to this expansion, right? This is where swimming first started existing? Alright. Oh. My bird just was like, no. Not allowed. Okay. New location. Look at all this experience I'm getting over here. Hold on, I'm gonna try to make this brighter. There we go. So I can see it better. No water for Chocobo, yes. Suino Sato. Have I been there? I must have. It's mapped out. I love that I'm just swimming across. Like, maybe there's a boat that I could be taking, but I'm not taking that boat. Okay. New location? You've discovered a new location? Here you go. You discovered a new location. Yes. Alright, I have to figure out how to get where I'm going here. Are there swimming chocobo? Because there's flying chocobo. I don't remember what red chocobo do. Are there swimming chocobo? Swim, 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 swim. Red chocobo casts meteor. That's not quite the same as flying, but I suppose. Oh, they're. Oh, okay. Right. Yes. Okay. This looks like where I'm supposed to get to, maybe. Oh, look at that. There's a crabby. Am I going the right way? I don't even know if I'm going the right way. Did I do it wrong? No, I'm going the right way. The Isle of Becco. Oh. But. Hold on. I know that I'm trying to, like, go where I'm supposed to go. But I'm gonna go attune to this first. Because as much as I love swimming, I'm actually not very good swimming in real life. I doggy paddle. I think it would be nice to have this one attuned. I suspect I'm going to want this. Chocobo Meteor is more effective when you have your Chocobo out. Yeah, I'm probably never going to Blue Mage, so... Look at these little boats. Can I just like grab a boat and make it go? I bet I can't. I bet they're like, no. Oh. Where's the thing to attune to? Hold on. This. I want to go to that. How do I get to that? I missed it. I was over there. Rock! Thank you for subscribing. Also, the timing on that musically was like perfect. Well, hold on. Oh, look at that. Constellations. I think there's glowy stuff under the water, so I guess that's a thing. Stolen Light, thank you also for subscribing. Thank you, friends. And welcome if any of our newer friends who dropped by for the first time are still here. I realize it's maybe not the most exciting streams in the world, but I appreciate you being here. Yeah, Blue Glass, I kind of get the feeling that we're going to raise the sunken continent, or else go underwater, which would be pretty exciting. What? Oh, look at this. Me and my fancy pony. Fanciest pony. No pony's fancier. Certainly no ponies that I have are fancier. This is my most impressive pony. Yes, so it does seem that we are gonna either go down there or lift it up. Wonder if we've kind of got like a Wind Waker Hyrule thing going on there. I guess we'll find out. Oh, hello. Lise and Alice, did you swim over here? Red, blue, yes. Sorbonne did tell us about the reds and the blues. Oh, so there what would be called a beast tribe or beast men in Eorzea. Oh, Rock, well, thank you so much for coming by. And welcome. You're welcome to stick around as long or as little as you want. But I appreciate the subscription. That's very nice of you. We are going to go find some Ninja Turtles. I'm not quite sure what we're planning on doing with the Ninja Turtles, but we're gonna go find them and presumably get into shenanigans. Man, there's a lot of fates here. Well, what is this? What? Oh, this, okay, yeah. That's a nice effect if you're here at night. There's this little thing where you're like, oh, what's that? My eyes have been caught by the glowy thing. I guess I'll take a look. Oh, look, we're in a cave. Fortunately, it's not a very small cave. Not a fan of caves. For anyone who doesn't know, I actually have a phobia of caves. But when they're really big and open like this, they don't necessarily set me off. All right. All right, well, we'll go see what's going on over there another time. Aha! Stories! Story, story, story! Oh, these look like watery plants.
Is that light I see up ahead?
Perhaps. Have we found it? Oh, no, that's not good. That makes me feel kind of cave-like. Oh, look at those glowy things! Oh, is that the aetherite? Oh, it's pretty. Oh, it's pretty.
We appear to be standing inside a giant bubble. By the 12. I think we're on the seabed.
Oh! Those glowy things are probably part of how it gets sustained. Wow!
Well, well, I thought I heard familiar voices.
It's our Ninja Turtle! Hello, friend! We made it. You don't seem surprised to see us here?
Soroban, what are you doing here?
What a curious question. I live here.
Then this is the home of the Blue Kojin.
Just so. I bid you welcome to Tamamizu.
Okay, so it's not a sunken continent. We are, in fact, underwater. That's cool! And very different. And also, yes, this has definitely got to be the expansion that has to do with water. Which I guess makes sense because, yes, there is a lot of water in storms, generally. Oh, man! This is so cool! Does it have new music? It does. Wait! The shadows! That was a school of fish flying by. Swimming by. Oh my gosh. More Ninja Turtles. Ah. Oh man. Okay, so I do not speak Japanese, so I don't understand. Yeah, I do remember that, Drew, but I tried not to think too hard about it in case it was spoilers. But I thought maybe Domo was undersea or underwater or something like that. But no, the turtles live underwater. Interesting that they are similar to water-dwelling creatures. Are turtles? It's a very stupid question. Turtles are reptiles, right? And they don't actually breathe underwater. They just spend a lot of time underwater, yes? That's a fair point, Stolen Light. We may try to go that way, and it may be an easy and direct line. But then you like find us on the other side of the world and are like, how did you get here? And we're like, look, I'm the Warrior of Light. I'm like, oh, right, you're an RPG hero. Oh yes, please do give me world building. Look, I love the schools of fish shadows. That's such a nice touch. Look at that one manta ray back there. You see the ray? The ray. Each of our souls once resided in the ordinary objects around us. Once we acclimate to this world, we are transferred into eggs. Despite the physical separation, we maintain a certain connection to that which we were. That's really cool and interesting. Wonderful if only you know how to breathe underwater. Please do tell me. Okay. I'm not fully grasping this, but I'm doing okay. Why are they talking about breathing underwater? Oh, hello, friends. Look at you all. I do have to go attuned to that, but I also want to progress the story. Oh, who am I kidding? I don't want to go progress the story. I gotta go. They're gonna be like, we're gonna show you around town, and I'll be like, sorry, I already looked around town and talked to everybody. Learned Carrot. That's a great name. Learned Carrot. I just really like when people name their characters after food. This is not the first. This is far from the first aetherite that we found in the... Is there a non-racist term to describe the people who are known as the Beastmen or Beast Tribes? Kefu-san. Hello, Kefu-san. Takotsu. Oh. I wanted to jump on you, friend. That probably wouldn't be very nice. She's adorable. Yes, she is. Oh, I don't know what's going on here, but I like the love that you have for your Ray friend. That makes sense, Soul and Light. Well, so it's tricky because, like, if I remember correctly, the Eorzeans who fall into the people categories, with the understanding that this is a racist construct, have, like, for example, their aetheryte. They have a similar and consistent look. And then we go to Othard, the continent, the eastern continent. And theirs have a different look that is, I guess, consistent from in all of their locations. But here we have an aetheryte that looks different. And I don't know if the, like, beast tribe aetherites look similar to one another, or if every one of them is different. And actually what's distinctive is that the group of Eorzean people who decided to unite themselves and say, we are Eorzeans, agreed on a set design for aetherites. Like, I'm curious about this. And like is this, how much of a construct is this? Why is there a difference in the different shapes and structures of the aetherites, and how does that reflect, or is reflected in, or by, the cultural differences, the distinctions that are made between the Eorzeans and the others? Okay, so the lore book does go into this. Mostly that, I will take that as an answer, that they do actually dig into that some. Oh. I can't go in there because that would be the ocean and I would die. Let's not do that. Let us not die. Okay, so everyone is praying. So what's interesting about this is that obviously the Eastern continent here owes a lot to Japanese culture. I know just enough about Japanese culture to see some things like, oh, you know, when I was in Tokyo and I went to the temples there were certain ways that temples are set up that I'm like, okay, when they're talking about the holiness in ordinary things, and that being like kami, like, I understand just enough to be like, ah, yes, I see. So for me, as an American, exploring this, I mean, obviously, this is an absolutely gorgeous place to run around. Just like underwater city, like just beautiful. And so there is an incredibly cool otherness about it. Like I think we can say, without harming any real world people, that an underwater city where like buildings are made of coral and things like that is an exotic feeling. Like, I think you can say that without being hurtful to any real world people, because talking about cultures as exotic is very othering to cultures, and it centers your culture as normal, and anything outside is not normal, and that's not really very good if you're looking at the world as like a global experience, which I think is a much healthier way, certainly less reductive and destructive towards other people. But yeah, so terms like that, other people. But I think that we can say that this is an exotic experience. Like, taking us up onto a cloud city, that's an exotic experience. Going underwater into an underwater city, that's an exotic experience. And so the coolness and like awe-inspiring otherness is the, like, I mean, they, like, we saw the look on Alice's face, which is probably very similar to the look on my face when you see this. It's beautiful. Like, they have such a good sense of like gorgeous aesthetics, like just beautiful game. But the culture here feels, to me, very different and interesting and cool, and like, oh, that's not the culture that I'm used to. So there's kind of a degree of cultural tourism going on here, where I'm getting the experience of going through this cool, new, interesting place. And obviously the religion, like the faith of the Ninja Turtles in Final Fantasy XIV is not going to be a direct recreation of any of the beliefs of real people in Japan, but it is clearly in that flavor, in that direction, something that would feel at home with that kind of thing. And a lot of times, if you have something that's like, for example, American made and trying to seem Asian, it'll have this sort of thing. And it's very othering, very exoticized. But what's cool and interesting and weird here is that this game is made by Japanese people, so a significant number of their players will be like, obviously, like, this is Ninja Turtles living under the sea, so this is not us. But we'll be like, oh yes, this is in some way tied to the cultural, like their cultural surroundings. That's where like the inspiration comes from here. So for those of us who are of my cultural background, a white person from the US, there is this cool otherness of exploring another culture that is it being Japanese-ish. But for the Japanese player base, that exploration, that newness is not going to be the cool thing here. And when we're here down with the Ninja Turtles, it's less apparent. But when we were going through Kugane, it's interesting because our characters who are from a more Western Tolkien-esque, yes, a Tolkien-esque universe, are exploring and experiencing Kugane in a way that is more authentic to how I would experience it. Again, as a white person from the US. Where it's like, oh, look at this cool architecture that is not like the traditional architecture of the culture in which I was raised. And so for all of our Eorzeans, it's like, whoa, look at the cool architecture here that is not like the culture, like the architecture and the culture in which I was raised, like the same experience that I'm having. But a Japanese player wouldn't have that same experience. So it's interesting that they've chosen to make their characters, I mean, I feel like with fantasy a lot of times the default assumption is that we're going to have a Tolkien-esque, European-ish setup and world. And so then those people will like have kind of cultural tourism into the East, even if it is created by people who are Japanese. But I do wonder, like, okay, as Dosmea says, Heavensward, so Heavensward has a very Catholic, medieval, European aesthetic and culture and things like that, which again, like, I have not grown up in any sort of like I grew up outside of religion, so like the like culture of Catholicism is not mine, but I think it is closer, or it is a culture that I've grown up experiencing proximity to. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, it's kind of like this. Oh, that's cool, it's kind of like that. I know people whose experiences might be closer to this. And maybe that's more equivalent to the experience that Japanese people would have playing through this. And perhaps the experience that Japanese people have playing through visiting Foundation, hanging out with the Ishgardians, is closer to this experience of, look at this weird, interesting, new thing that's different from what I'm used to that I'm having here. And that's really interesting because, like, it's an interestingly well-rounded world within itself, but you can't get away from the meta side of things and the experiences that the players are bringing based on their personal backgrounds and experiences. And when you have two significant but distinctive player base groups. Like, it's really interesting. Because anytime I'm in a game and I go into a place that's like fantasy Japan, like, sometimes I have the instinctive urge to wince in anticipation, because a lot of times it's like what Americans, largely white Americans, are like, this is fantasy Japan, it's Asian. And then you have, you know, Japanese game creators, that's not gonna happen. Or it'll be different. I don't know, like, yeah, also a lot of American culture fundamentally goes back to why am I blanking? The Puritans. So many of the things that are unhealthy and destructive and fundamentally American go back to the Puritans. I could go on about that at length, but that's a separate problem. So I think that Dumbland is referencing William Gibson, the cyberpunk writer. Cyberpunk had a really fetishistic way of, and that's something that we talked about when we were going around Kagane, I think. A fetishistic approach to Japanese-ish culture and things. Yeah. Anyway, I realize that's a tangent, but I can't help thinking about it, and it's something that kind of was in my mind that we talked about a little bit in Kagane, but it's really striking here. Because the way that they talk about, like the way so I've been informed, because I actually used to work as a communications and marketing writer for a Catholic university, and I was told, you don't write about religion, you write about faith. So the less othering term is then to talk about people's faith traditions or their faiths, and I feel like, based on my understanding, obviously as an outsider who's not the most educated but has tried to be somewhat educated and has spent some time in spiritual places in Tokyo, a little bit. I have visited some Shinto shrines in Tokyo and the surrounding area, but I feel like the turtles here are closer to like an older faith traditions in Japan, more traditional, which, like, can I go on a little tangent that I don't know if I've gone on before here? And this is going to be me stepping very carefully, with the understanding that I am not obviously anything claiming to be an expert or somebody who truly, fully understands all of this. But I've spoken when I went to Tokyo. So for me personally, like I said, I have had no personal firsthand experience growing up with or growing into organized religion. It just has completely been a non-issue in my life. So I've kind of constructed my own thing, and then felt ashamed of that and not really acknowledged or talked about it much. I've actually talked about it more on stream than I think I have mostly in public over the years. But the Shinto way of looking at things, where like there's kind of an essence, a spirit, like I guess kind of like a holiness in everything, which people will say that is animistic, meaning like not animal but animated. That's like true to something fundamental inside of me that's been that way since I was a little girl. And so I'm fascinated by Shinto culture, or the Shinto faith and the culture around it, because even people who aren't actively like, yes, that is my faith tradition, that is who I am and what I actively believe, having spoken to a number of people in Japan about this, there's this kind of like, it flavors the way you interact with the world, it colors the way you interact with the world, it's kind of background. It's kind of like a background way of feeling about the world and the universe that permeates everything without being conscious. So even if you're not like, I am a person who follows this religious faith tradition experience, you still like go up a mountain and like have feelings about the spirit of the mountain. Then that's just kind of like the background noise culturally of how things are. And that was really cool and interesting. Because, like, I guess these conversations, one of the nice things at the time I had magenta hair. One of the nice things about being, like, an American-Canadian girl with magenta hair going through Tokyo is that you can have conversations that I don't know if they would be normal to have with strangers. But you can talk to people about things like this. And as long as you're trying to be respectful and open and honest, and not push too hard, like, people will talk to you about things like this. I think it's probably very apparent that I'm trying to approach things as respectfully as I can, and that it's a genuine, personal, spiritual interest of mine. But yeah, like, so Marie Kondo's tidying up has this idea, like, the significance of thanking something before you let it go. It's just this underlying thing. No, Rock, I actually didn't. I knew like 3 words and I couldn't bring myself to say them as much as like I would. By the end of it, because I was there for 2.5 weeks, by the end of it I managed to say I could thank people and I could say excuse me. And that was really about it. But I went anyway because I was going for a concert. And I have a crippling fear of speaking another language. I've tried to make myself say a few things on stream over the years, especially like recently, but it's very hard and scary. But I would like to learn some Japanese, but I'm also trying to learn a little German, so... But yeah, no, you can do all right. A lot of people there speak English. If you go into like restaurants and places, sometimes they'll look at you with panic on their faces. But you can find lists of places where they have like English menus and you can point, you can use translation apps. People are very polite and helpful. I had a very nice man when I got lost in the subway because I'd never been on a subway really before going to Tokyo, which has possibly the most complicated subway system in the entire world in a language I don't speak. And I had no subway experience, so I was having a rough time of it. So one very kind gentleman got off of the train with me and took me to the right train and made sure I went in the right direction. So people are very friendly and helpful, as long as you're polite, apologetic, and appreciative. So yeah, yes, I started Subway's hard mode. But yeah, so it feels like the way that they're talking about this, like, and I haven't heard, I think this particular variation of like, your soul comes from something else. I think that is something that is invented for the Ninja Turtles. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but it fits in neatly. It's like compatible with that real world undercurrent of the Shinto way of thinking about things. It's really cool. Yeah, anyway. Culture, man, it's interesting stuff. Also, look at how pretty this is. I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to go through those, or if those circles are strictly there for world building, because that's how the turtles get through. So one of the most interesting things about the subway was when I was traveling on Friday night after work, but before the train shut down, and people had gone out drinking afterwards, because when you have a culture that emphasizes the importance of overwork, you kind of have to cope. And one of the ways that humans around the world cope with massive amounts of stress and the lack of free time is by drinking in their free time. So you have these people who are like falling over drunk, but even then they stood in perfect lines waiting for the train. Because you stand on either side, so when the doors open, like, the people who are on the train can go off and then you go on, and it's very orderly. And even when people were, like, completely smashed beyond belief, like, leaning on each other in order to stay on their feet, they still stood in perfect lines. It was really impressive and said a lot. Yeah. But it was a very, very cool experience, and I really want to go back at some point. Oops, I accidentally said something. L'Oreal said H. Kojin of the Blue, he did say that. That's right, Lise. They're the traitors. Yeah, it's a hot mess in a lot of places. Canadians actually stand on the proper side of the escalator. Americans don't. So moving to Canada, I know I've told this a lot, but if you're new here, you haven't heard me say this. It was very jarring going through, of course, obviously back in the time before the pandemic and the lockdown, but it would be jarring going through like shopping malls and places that have escalators and being with somebody else and trying to stand beside them to carry my conversation and realizing I can't do that. I have to stand on the right. The US has the rule where you're supposed to stand on the right and let people walk on the left, but nobody follows it. So, Canadians are definitely better about following rules that serve everybody like that, or zipper merging on highways. Alright, yes, let's make friends with Soravan. Okay, what can I wear? Can I wear any of these? I want cool outfits, but I guess I'll take this and sell it or something. Alright. I don't know why we're here either, honestly. I'm not sure what Alice is planning. I don't know if I'm misremembering something. Profitable arrangement. Bunchin. Maybe Bunshin? Maybe Bunshin? I'm trying very hard not to just make American English generalizations. Oh my god, I keep encountering. I thought I was prepared for non-American spellings because my mom never upgraded. Like, she's been living in the US for like over 30 years and she still spells things R-E instead of E-R and with the extra U. So I was like, I'm used to the spelling thing and I can get used to spelling my last name with a Z instead of a Z. The word enroll, like enrolling in something, the word enroll and enrollment has one L. Upgraded, is that the word I said? That's not what I meant. Updated is what I meant. Yeah. And to enroll in something. Enrollment has one L. Story, like a 2-story building, has an E in it. I thought I knew these, and now I'm like, what other words have non-doubled consonants that I have yet to discover and will make a fool of myself by not knowing how to spell correctly? Oh, is that so? Okay, thank you, Stolen Light. Obviously, I don't know the whole rules. Yes, absolutely, Rock. Please do. If you want to send me a request off stream so that your name doesn't appear in my screen, you can make that decision. Or if you don't care and you're all right with me doing that here, I will do that. Undefined, undefined. That's cute. Where am I going? Oh, follow the big chocobo foot. I'll do that. Hello, Bunshin. Well, so I don't feel right calling it British English because it's like the spellings, and correct me if I'm wrong, friends from Australia, but I believe you also use the same spellings that I would call British spellings, and Canadians do too. Really, it's just the Americans, I think, who have their own spelling, because when we seceded, we were like, F you and your dictionary, we're gonna make our own, which I'm like, because that's one way in which I'm very American. So that's why I switched to American English and non-American English. I feel like that is a more accurate description. Alright. Oh, Rock! How convenient! You have Rock in your name. Alright, sorry folks. Yeah, Canadian spellings are, and the Canadian, like, American and British, like, language and measurement and stuff split is just... Oh my god, and then checks. Yeah, I was talking to someone because we were having to get a certified check for an apartment, my new roommate-to-be. And I spelled it check the way an American spells check, and I was like, right. Okay. But I knew that one, I just forget about it. Alright. Let's progress some plot, shall we? Do we get voice acting here?
Welcome, guests. Gratitude to you for aiding Soroban in his negotiations.
That looks like Shredder's hat, doesn't it? Please tell me his name is a pun of some sort referencing the Ninja Turtles. That would be amazing. Amazing. Oh, you know, I think it's acetaminophen, Dumbland. I think. But one of the actual Canadians will have to answer that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start telling people I'm either Canadian American or American Canadian, like hyphenated.
We thank you for your hospitality, honored elder. Pray forgive me my brevity, but I wish to discuss an urgent matter.
All right, Alice. She's being polite. She can do that.
So, you seek to compel our red brothers to forego hostilities for a time.
He has a really cool voice. A really cool voice.
That's right. We know your two clans have your differences, but what with you being brothers and all, we thought you might be able to share some secret knowledge or something.
Oh my god, Lise. She's trying really hard. It's really cute.
From far above, you have journeyed here in search of our wisdom. You shall have it.
Thank you, Bunshin.
All creation is a tapestry, through which the divine is interwoven. Kami are legion, and they can be found in the great and the small. Though they come and go as they please, they favor certain vessels. The ancient, the precious, the exquisite. We Kojin covet these vessels, these treasures. We go forth and bring them home. Keep them safe and bask in their divinity. They bring prosperity and joy to us and our children.
That's fascinating. I thought it was a little strange that they had this very serious seeming Ninja Turtle who's like, I'm a merchant. I gotta make merchanty deals. Because usually when you have a merchant class, a merchant race, a merchant species, you wind up with like the old Lalafels. You know, or a lot who are often, though not always, based on anti-Semitic tropes. But usually, like, there's this, like, greed for greed's sake. So, for these people to be like, we want riches for genuinely spiritual reasons, that's really interesting, because I absolutely believe them. And what is money to one person can be valuable in less tangible ways to someone else.
Yet, how are we to seek these treasures above if we made enemies of the Garlean Empire, powerful and far-reaching as they are? Wiser to join with them. So resolved the Red Kojin.
Kojin. G.
Cautiously and carefully, for the Garleans are blind to the divine. Nor will they suffer their subjects to see.
Yes, not only do they not follow this themselves, but they would forbid others from
So the
doing
Red masquerade as mercenaries who seek money and power, and never speak of their faith in the presence of their masters.
Oh, that's a really cool and interesting angle! Wow! Oh, that's cool! Oh, that's way more interesting! Thank you, Final Fantasy XIV! That's some cool world building! I really like that!
To honor the divine, they deny it. A twisted and misguided path.
He has some pretty hefty turtle biceps. Oh, look! L'Oreala and Lise had the exact same reaction.
Kami will not abide such foolishness. This they shall learn to their sorrow. While our red brothers live by the sword, we blue Kojin uphold the old ways, engaging in trade and valuing peace.
Yes, I think that's wonderful.
Alas, men distinguish not between our clans, and judgment for the doings of the red falls unjustly upon the blue. Thus do men grow more and more reluctant to deal with us, denying us our treasures. This cannot continue.
Okay, so we will be doing you a favor.
On that
Beatrix.
point, we are in agreement. You are willing to aid our cause, then?
Probably not unless we do something else for them.
There is a way that the red may be driven to retreat into their shells.
By making these... This is the first time we've had a beast tribe be so central to the story and treated with the same reverence, dignity, and respect as the Eorzeans. I like that even though, like, they're the Ninja Turtles, they're so clearly Ninja Turtles, they are very serious. And they're presented in a way where they are very serious spiritual beings. So you believe that. Like, that's just really cool.
But to share with
Smart.
you this knowledge is to reveal secrets of the divine. Assurances must first be had, trust forged, a bargain struck.
Yes. Oh. Here, you want me to say another thing about a culture that is not mine, but that I have learned from talking to other people? Because being kind of like allowed to see or learn someone else's secret faith tradition is an act of a great trust. And so something that is very hard, I think, for a lot of white Americans to wrap their heads around is that just because someone tells you the story doesn't mean that you can then go and tell the story to others. And so one of my friends who is native, who grew up on a reservation, so like she's very, very involved with her nation. But she's kind of helped explain this to me, and also like I've listened to what some other people with similar cultural backgrounds have talked about. Like even people from one, like, I guess, indigenous nation, that doesn't give them the right to go telling somebody else's secret holy stories. And so I've seen that kind of be raised as a complaint if somebody writes, for example, a fantasy novel that is drawing inspiration from the real world, like faith traditions, stories of one particular nation that they don't belong to. Those may not be their stories to tell, and it may actually be really, really disrespectful and hurtful to use those stories as though they're nothing more than a myth that you can draw inspiration from for your fun adventure story. You know? Like, this is somebody's holy sacred text that is meant to be used only as itself, and you're only allowed to experience it as an honor, as something you're welcomed into. And that just was completely different to how I'd ever thought about stories. Even as someone who is a storyteller, and like stories are so important to me, but I would have just greedily gobbled up everyone's stories and then put them in my what's the word? Put them in my arsenal to draw inspiration from. You don't get to do that. It's like It's like when you're a fiction writer, you draw a lot on things that have happened to you and to people that you love. And you may just blithely write along without thinking and be like, oh, you know what would be a really interesting thing for this story or this character's background or something like that? I had this friend who had this traumatic experience happen to them. I'll write that into the story because it would really fit the story. Sometimes you don't get to do that, you know? Somebody else's trauma shared with you, personally entrusted to you, is not yours to then use as the raw material to create a story. You know, that's not yours. You were trusted to hear it, but it is not your story to tell. And I think it's similar, where it's something that is deeply personal to an individual or to a culture that was entrusted to you for a particular purpose, and that is to hear and to understand and to learn, but not to use. And it actually took me a little while as a writer to wrap my head around the fact that I can't just go taking other people's experiences of trauma or so on. That's the easiest example I can think of, the easiest comparison, and tell a great story about that. You don't get to do that. So, yeah. Be respectful, I guess is what it comes down to. So here...
Well said, Elder. In great crises is great profit to be had.
Delight not overmuch in such things, Soroban. Now, tell our guests what must be done.
As you wish.
They're so serious all the time.
Well, I've no idea what we've gotten ourselves into, but so far so good, right?
A little bit of comic relief. Lisa's here for that. Without being too much. Not enough to be out of place. So we're getting close to the time that I usually wrap up stream. But I'm going to... Emmerich is hanging out over here. I want to see if we can get to a stopping point. The Yasakani no Magatama. Ah. Ah. Hingashi. That's the red. Oh. Hingashi. Who is that again? Okay, so the red... Stop. So the red are like allied with the Imperials. But their faith is still more important, so they won't allow this to happen. Ah, okay, thank you. It would be problematic. Ah. Alright. Unkyu. Yeah, I know that there are the 3 sacred treasures in real life, but I don't remember what they're called. Oh my god, look at Bambi. She's super cute. Also definitely supposed to look like Bambi, a deer. So I'm supposed to go slay an Unkyu. Where am I now? Alright. Because I feel like there's going to be a good stopping point soon where I've like unlocked something or something. I may be mistaken here. Ah, okay, sorry, my controller. This is gonna be fun in Hades tomorrow. I need to get a new controller. It kept having problems with my emulator yesterday when we were playing Suikoden 2. So if anybody knows where I can get a good, ideally first-party Xbox 360 wired controller. Or if anyone can vouch. What? Hold on. Wait, what just happened? I had a map and a thing in the way. Oh. Well, that happened. Goodness. Okay. I have to go kill an enemy. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, maybe I'll just die a bunch. Most of his firewood gathering techniques. You know, I'll say it's probably good for you. Hold on. It's Zoro time. Yeah, it's not the grease though, Dumbland. I think it's the cable, which is much I'm lazy. Like, I think it's that the cable has seen better days. And some of the controls, some of the buttons have been kind of problems. Oh boy. Some of the buttons have been problems, in the past anyway, so. Where am I? What am I doing? Yeah, so unfortunately it's not a matter of cleaning it, it's a matter of getting a new controller. Which, to be fair, I've had this controller for like 5 or 6 years and it's seen a lot of abuse. So I feel like it's not the end of the world. Oh! I do have a carapace. Alright. So now they're gonna make it so we can breathe underwater. Okay. Okay. Sui no sato. Sui is water. Shellless. Oh. And huh. Water village, okay. So how long is this next section? It feels kind of maybe actually like we're in the middle of something. I thought it was going to be like gather these things and then you will unlock a dungeon. Now it feels like there's actually going to be going to places and talking to people and doing things and stuff. Because I will shut down at some point soon-ish. I'm just trying to figure out when the best time to do so is. This is a good time to stop, Domland? Okay. Alright. Yes, I'm beginning to get that sense now. Okay, well that's alright. I will tell my pony friends because they thought I might unlock something. I'll be like, sorry, I did not. There's apparently an optional dungeon at some point that they have claimed. Because they're like, it's not main story stuff, so we'll do that. Alright, well, so this is exciting. I really like this location. It's super interesting in ways that are very different from what was so interesting in Heavensward. There is, like, still unquestionably, like, the bad guys are unquestionably bad. I kind of suspect that's going to continue in Final Fantasy XIV, where you're like, there are the evil people. There are actually evil people in this world. Oh, I don't have my PS4 with me. It is up in Canada. But I'm super interested in the world building here, if that's not super apparent. And I'm really excited to see where they go with it, what they do with it, and also kind of how the plot continues to thicken, because they have like I said, they have just plain evil people. And come to think of it, like, in Heavensward, we had Emmerich's dad, who was pretty awful. And then we had my favorite character in the entire game. Who wasn't even, like, evil? Like, he wasn't, like, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't like him. But there wasn't, I don't know. There was still a complexity in some of the other situations and how to deal with them. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see how I'm going to sink my teeth into this and if they're going to bother making the Imperials or any of the Imperials sympathetic. So far, the only, yeah, no, like, Emmerich's dad had a motivation that wasn't just evil. That's true. He was kind of an awful person, but at least, like, his end goal of wanting to stop war and save his people was present. And Nidhogg is like, I just want to kill everybody and make them suffer. And he had a reason for it, which was good. It was better than just like, I'm crazy and evil. But yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, no, just made that's clear. I'm wondering what they're going to do with the Imperials here, because so far nobody has been sympathetic. The only Imperial that we've had that's been sympathetic was the guy who I keep calling General Leo, who we encountered on the floating continent in the Magitech research facility. Because he cares about his own men and therefore can relate to you. But I don't think... I mean, Gaius had something where I'm like, okay, I can get behind that one sentiment. But I don't really think any of the other Imperials have been showed to be sympathetic. So I don't know if they're going to change that here. I feel like they kind of have to, though. You know? Like, Heaven's Word had the dragons, and Nidhogg is, like, all bad. And I remember complaining to my friends, because I was like, I hate the dragons. I just hate the dragons. And then I was like, oh, I don't hate the dragons anymore. And my friend who is obsessed with dragons is like, oh, did you meet, God, what's her name? Best girl. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, I'm blanking on names. Oh, it's terrible. What's her name? Vidofnir. Yes, Vidofnir. Who's wonderful. And then you have people like, Hraesvelgr, I think is his name, who's like not quite like Vidofnir is just great. Like, she's clearly like the most easy. She's the easiest dragon to sympathize with and get along with. And Hraesvelgr is like not quite there, but also not Nidhogg. And even Midgardsorm are kind of like. Once you eventually figure out like that he's not like dragons, or like it's like he's like this. I don't fully get him, but I kind of get what they're doing with him. Then I actually really like him a lot as a character. I think he's fascinating. But that made the situation with the dragons much more interesting. And even like the situation with the Ishgardians, like, and seeing the layers of things was interesting. I would love to travel with a precocious dragon kid. We get to talk to some of the dragon kids, and they were like, yeah, Nidhogg doesn't care how many of us die. And I was like, there's like the one last thing that I might have been able to be like, Nidhogg has this going for him, but he doesn't even. So yeah. That's cool stuff. So because the Imperials really are our enemy in this game, and there's like a few sections of Imperials, and I'm wondering whether Lolorito is going to come back and be an antagonist by the end of this. I don't know. But the Imperials are the big bad here. And we have several different levels of, like several different sections, factions, if you will, of Imperials. We have Golf Buddy and Yutsuya? Is that her name? The survival at all costs lady. And they're different. They're very different. I actually dislike Golf Buddy less. Because she is trying to prove to, like, she's trying to prove to bad, awful people that she's as bad and awful as they are, so that they like her, and the only way for her to do that is to be worse than they are. Which makes her worse. Also, it's her own people she's betraying. Yeah, I'm sorry, Golf Buddy is his name. He's gonna be Golf Buddy because Xenos is too generic. He deserves that, actually. Amazing. But neither one of them is remotely sympathetic. And I don't think we're going to get anything super sympathetic. Like, they might do enough with Golf Buddy to either give us a common enemy or be like, he had a traumatic experience, like a terrible childhood, and that's why he's messed up. But I feel like this game would be like, so that's why he is the way he is, instead of being like, so you can't blame him for being the way he is. Like, I don't think they'll pull that one. But neither one of them is sympathetic. And on their own, neither one of them is that interesting. But you could do something with either of them. The most interesting character on the antagonist side for me is the Alamegan woman who is leading the Imperial faction of the Alamegan, like the Alamegan Imperials. Fordola, she's the most interesting character by far. The situation with the kids that grew up under Imperial rule in the Alamegan area, that's the most interesting conflict. That's super interesting. I think what's really upsetting about what's going on here with the sadistic lady, the Viceroy. What's going on with her? Part of what makes that so horrible is because you can point to times in history where people did exactly what she's doing, and people died horribly as a result. And so that's interesting because it's real, even though it feels like a caricature. It's believable. Yotsuyu, okay. But the most interesting thing overall is not that. The most interesting thing so far is Fordola's people, her situation, all of that. I'm dying to know. And I wonder if there is going to be a parallel of some sort between the Red Kojin, I'm trying, and Fordola's people. Because in a way, Fordola and the people that she leads could be more like the Viceroy. Choosing, well, no, it's not the things, they're not like the Viceroy. They're not choosing to do that. Now, there are 3 different reasons why people might wind up siding with an evil imperial place, an evil imperial culture thing. There's 3 very different motivations, and so having all 3 of them in the same story towards the same empire is really interesting. It lets you ask those questions. What would make a person turn their back on their people and their ways and align themselves with an imperial power? They could be raised within the imperial power and have that be normalized and a legitimate path where they genuinely do not feel that connection to their people or their way of life. Or they can pretend to turn their back on who they are and their way of life because they have determined that there is something more important to be gained by going along with, without being subsumed by, the imperial way, which is what the Red Kojin are doing. And then there is flat outright rejecting everything about oneself and one's origin and one's people in a violent way for self-preservation, as the Viceroy does. And they're all people trying to find ways to survive under the rule of the Empire, while it's very clearly apparent that if you try to resist the Empire, they're going to win, either by direct violence or by attrition. Either way, like, you will get slowly dried up to death. Like, they're basically like a cat playing with its prey, with the Alamegans. Doma apparently got completely wrecked when they tried an uprising. And we're looking at the Confederacy here, the Confederacy of Pirates. And they've also got this hopelessness. They're being choked as well. So how do you live when you have this all-powerful empire? And if we are successful in removing the empire, how do the people who have made these decisions live with themselves and the new world and what they've done or haven't done? Find out eventually as we keep playing our way through Stormblood. Okay, apparently I like this because this is stuff that I'm interested in. Yeah. Anyway, this is what we're doing. This is relevant. I'm not going off on a tangent. Anyway, thank you all so much for sticking around. Wow, I said I was going to shut down and then I went on for 10 minutes about this. So I will not be streaming next week because I'm taking a week off to hang out with my family. I will keep you posted on what's going to happen the week after that. I will be streaming tomorrow for Hades. We'll see how my controller does. It might be an adventure. And then Saturday we're going to be trying to stream Lifelike, the Mother-inspired or Earthbound-inspired game. We'll be streaming the demo of that, which should be a lot of fun. So thank you all so much, Rock, or I guess Rack. Thank you for joining. It was great to have you drop by. And anybody else who happens to have dropped by for the first time isn't usually here, or are lurkers that we don't usually directly say hi to. Thank you for being here too. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me. I hope that you're having a good time. And I will see you lovely people another time. Good night!